The Nintendo Switch has had such a successful life, 8 years already. If you were to ask me, I think one of the biggest reasons why it has been the indie game scene. I feel like the Nintendo Switch without indies wouldn't be the same. Sure, it would still have like its amazing first party games, Nintendo games, but I think having the indie games to support a lot of those higher end games really gave the Switch its own identity, in my opinion. And I feel like the Nintendo Switch, even with the Switch 2, can still have almost like a second life these upcoming years with the support of indie developers. If I'm being honest, a lot of newer indie games that are coming out could run on the Switch 1. They're not too demanding. So if you ask me, a lot of these games would be at home on the Switch 1 and on the Switch 2. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Switch 2 continuing this support of indie games would be great. Although the physicals, that kind of sucks. But regardless, I know the Indie Direct is going to be tomorrow. I wanted to make a quick video to highlight some indie games that I believe should be on the Nintendo Switch. Eventually, maybe, I don't think any of these games are going to be announced tomorrow. They're more hidden, right? They're more hidden gems, I would say. Not hidden gems, but I mean, some of these are actually kind of huge. But I don't think these games are like big enough to be in a Nintendo Indie Direct. Still, I want to talk about some of them, even if they're not on Switch. Still want to highlight some of these games for you to check out and maybe keep an eye out. But yeah. The first game I want to talk about is, in my opinion, a no-brainer, and I'm kind of surprised it hasn't been announced for Switch yet, and that game is UFO 50. This game looks so cool. This is basically a compilation of 50 games, 50 full-fledged, highly developed, thought out and fleshed out ideas. You know, not just mini games, not just little drafts of games. No, these are like full-fledged, full games, right? A lot of these are like full-on RPGs, some of these are like arcade games, some of these are platformers, and they're extremely well developed and well made. And it's like this package of 50 full games, and it's kind of insane how much content this package has, this game UFO 50 has. This seems like the perfect indie Switch game, and I'm still surprised it's not on it. And I really hope it gets a Switch port and a physical, if you ask me. But yeah, it's such a great idea, or not a great idea. I mean, this game took, I think, like 8-9 years to develop, so I don't think anyone should make this type of game again. I mean, it seems like a grueling developing cycle. So, but yes, this is such a great game, and I believe this game should be on the Switch. The second game I want to talk about is Peter Shorts. This game just looks so silly. This game looks so funny to me. This is honestly one of the funniest games I've seen in a while. Its humor is amazing. I've played this developer's games before. I played Trash Bashers, and that game was amazing. That game was a lot of fun. The visuals are like super unique, or like kind of like Atari type games. I don't know how to describe it, but it looks amazing. And this game, Peter Shorts, is almost like a Super Nintendo, from what I've seen at least on the trailer. It's like a Super Nintendo Smash Bros. Game. It's an adventure game, but also has now it's been getting consistent updates throughout the last couple years, or the year or so it's come out. It's gotten like multiplayer mode and some other like online modes and stuff. So this game looks a lot of fun. I would love to have this on Switch. This game, it just looks really funny, and yeah. There are a lot of genres on the indie scene that I really love, and one of them that I don't feel like is represented enough on the Switch is the shoot 'em up genre. Games like Ikaruga, Radiant Silvergun, etc. One of the modern classic games that a lot of people talk about nowadays is Zero Ranger. A lot of people in the shmup community consider this game almost like a pioneer of its own genre now, with a lot of people are calling like newer shmups that are coming out Zero Ranger-like or Zero-likes, which is extremely interesting. I haven't played this game too much. I have it on PC, and I've had a great time with it. But I feel like if this was on Switch, I would be able to sink in my teeth, right? Especially with the portability of the Switch. The only thing though is that the developer is still working on it. They're still adding like a hard mode, I believe. So this game, although it's really good, this game is still being worked on, so it's not completely finished. So hopefully whenever the developer does finish the game, everything they want to add into the game, it can get ported on the Switch, and it can get a proper physical, and I could buy it and I could support this game, because this game is very important, it seems like, when it comes to shmups. And I really wanted to sink my teeth a bit more in this game. I'm probably going to do it, and if this game doesn't ever go to Switch, I'm probably just going to play on PC regardless. So Okay, this is a weird one. This is one that you might have not heard a lot about because I think it came out this year. It's a bit in the weirder side. It's called Super 10 Pin. This is a N64 heavily inspired bowling game. This game looks kind of insane, like the vibes of the N64. I kind of grew up on the N64 when I was younger, so this brings a lot of like nostalgia for me from playing N64, playing Mario 64, a lot of the weird sports games they have on the N64. This game kind of is like a surreal bowling game, and it looks a lot of fun. And I don't know, something about the graphics just look very enticing, really dreamy almost. And the music is also amazing on this game. So having this game on the Switch seems like a dream. I don't know why. This game just seems so cool. Okay, other games that rely a lot on nostalgia. What about SANAE's Sylphid Breeze? I don't know if I pronounced that right, but you might look at the cover in it and just see anime girl and be like, what is nostalgic about this? Well, this game is a Kirby game. It's basically a Kirby game, but instead of Kirby, you play as an anime girl. That's all I have to say about it. It looks fun, and honestly, being on the Switch, it would be amazing. It would be pretty fun. Especially since we're not getting, well, I guess we are getting Kirby games, but not too many 2D Kirby games, or at least not good ones. But yeah, I would say check this out if you haven't yet. Hopefully it comes to the Switch. Another 2D platformer that is also inspired by old NES classics, Kitsune Tails. This game looks like a lot of fun. From what I've seen, it seems like this game is inspired by Mario Bros. 3. And that's one of my favorite. I think that one's better than Mario World, in my opinion. It has so many creative levels in that game. But this Kitsune Tails, supposedly it's almost like an expansion on Mario Bros. 3. And it looks great. And also you play as an anime girl. So another game that takes an already existing series and adds an anime girl into it. And I mean, who knows? Maybe the strategy captures an audience that hasn't played Mario games, right? But now would, because it has an anime girl. Who knows? Maybe it works. Maybe it's good. And having it on the Switch, you know, why not? Perfect game. A Mario game with anime on the Switch. Why not? Okay, this one looks a little bit interesting. I don't know much about it. I haven't seen too many reviews, but it seems like it's been heavily or highly rated on places like Steam. This game's called Minishoot Adventures. This is a shmup-like, but instead of just being like vertical or horizontal, you know, having like a one direction timed axis, you could say, it is an open world adventure game, right? So you take the basic formula of a shoot 'em up, and then you put it in an adventure game, in a Zelda-like game from what I've seen. And it seems like an interesting premise. I don't know how well it executes it, but from the reviews that I've seen on Steam, it seems like it does it really well. And it's a lot of fun, so you know, why not? It seems like it's pretty bullet hell heavy. Although the bullets are not fast, the bullets kind of just hover around the screen, and you have to like nudge your way through for the bosses. So yeah, I've seen this like trend of including bullet hell elements into other genres like Metroidvanias, and now I guess adventure games like Zelda likes. I don't know, this game looks a lot of fun. It's not on Switch, so I hope it gets a Switch release. So yeah, check it out. Okay, this one's a lot of fun, and I'm pretty sure this game is gonna get a Switch release. I think the developer has talked about it, but it's still on the works. They're adding right now an expansion for the game, and hopefully after that, or whenever they're done adding whatever they want into the game, it gets a Switch release, because this game looks amazing. This game is called Declines Drops. This is a 2D Smash Bros. Like single player game, right? This is not a multiplayer game. This is just a single player game. Think about Subspace Emissary and how that, you know, it's like an adventure. You still have the same moveset from a Smash Bros. Game, but you just go through this like platformer challenge, and it's a single player game, and it looks like a lot of fun. It seems like they expanded on a lot of the ideas from Smash Bros. And fleshed them out a little bit, because honestly, Smash Bros, in my opinion, never really had a really good single player campaign. They've always been like afterthoughts, right? The multiplayer's been its main aspect, its main focus. But it seems like this Decline Drops really emphasizes on the single player and fleshes them out, and it seems like it's gotten really good reviews. And Of course, like any of these games, I would want them to get physicals. That way I can add them to my collection. But regardless, having them just be on the Switch, be playable on the big OLED screen would be great. So yeah, check this out if you haven't. This is the last shooter I'm going to talk about, Devil Blade Reboot. This game just looks insane. This is one of the best looking 2D games I've ever seen. I really love all the the gritty effects they added, all the lighting. The pixel art looks insane in this game, and the action looks cool. It just looks like a badass game to play. And having this game on Switch would be amazing. Again, like I said, many of these games, they just would be awesome on the Switch, man. Playing this on an OLED screen would be perfect. This is just another good shmup that's right now unfortunately stuck to PC. I really hope that it goes to the Switch. It gets a Switch release. Yeah, check this out. At least wishlist it on Steam or buy it if you really want to, and support this game, man. This game looks so cool. This game is old as hell. It's like a remake of a game made by a game developer back in like the 90s, and got like a pseudo remake, almost reimagined 20 years later, 30 years later, something like that. And it supposedly is like insane. Yeah, you should definitely check this out. This is almost like a no-brainer in my opinion. I feel like this game should have been on Switch, right? Especially on Switch 2 now with its like game chat features. I know this game is huge, but it could have like a second boom, right, on the Switch, right, on the Switch 2 specifically. I think Peak would be perfectly suited to be on Switch. You're telling me that a colorful, fun, multiplayer-focused game wouldn't kind of kill it on the Nintendo Switch 2, especially with like its game chat feature, like the face camera thing and voice chat. This game would be amazing. I feel like this game is a no-brainer. I know it's been kind of huge and talked about and shared around online for the last couple months, but I think this game would kind of be insane on the Switch too. Also, this is one of the games that I think it's an obvious pick to be on the Switch too. I do not think this game is not coming to Switch. I believe this game is actually going to come to Switch. I don't know if it's going to come tomorrow with the Indie Direct, but I think it is going to be eventually ported to Switch. I mean, I think it's such a big hit. I can't see how this would not be on a Switch, or at least one of these like multiplayer friend games, right? Like multiplayer funny friend games that have been popping around so much on like Steam, Lethal Company, Repo, etc., all these games, and now Peak. And I feel like Peak seems like the most suited for a Switch, right? You don't have to deal with like horror stuff, being horror theme or anything. It's more relaxed. It's more kid friendly, I guess you could say. You know, why not? So yeah, I just wanted to highlight some indie games that I feel like would be amazing to see on Switch. A lot of these games are available on Steam right now, so if you don't really want to wait, you can just buy them on Steam. Unfortunately, I don't have a Steam Deck. I feel like if I had a Steam Deck, I would have played a lot of these games already. But regardless, hopefully they eventually come to Switch so I can play them on my big ass OLED with its amazing screen. I swear, I feel like the Switch could have, like I said before, a second life, being supported not by Nintendo, not supported by any big third-party developers, but by indie games, kind of like the Vita. So having more indie games released on the Switch even after Switch 2 would be a great way to keep this console going, right? Because I feel like this console still has so much life to give. If you have a Switch 1, if you have an OLED, I feel like keeping those consoles would be the smart choice to do, because I mean, I think there's still a lot of indie games, really great indie games that are probably better than anything else that's coming out, that are coming to the Switch, right? Even the Switch 1. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have any other indie games you would want to see on the Switch 1? What do you guys think about the Switch 1 being an indie machine, and if you are considering keeping your Switch so that way you could keep playing indie games that are coming out, or if the Switch 2 should be just the way to go, you know? What do you guys think? Like and subscribe if you like content like this. I'm gonna keep talking about the Switch 1 and Switch collecting. Yeah, let me know what you guys think.